Hello. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and yes, this is one street over. How you doing? What's going on one street over from where you living? Well, the Chambers having their big breakfast this morning, and Bill, I drug him out this morning because, well, Debbie Keenan's supposed to be coming in today, and she had an appointment that she forgot about, and so I got a message from her late yesterday, and I love the Keenans. They're just awesome. And
they printed up a couple of books for me.
Oh, yeah, they're just wonderful. And they have their little publication, Let's Talk Trash, and I haven't talked to her about it in a while, and I thought, well, I think they're still putting it out because they put that out to the elementary kids or the, and so I haven't seen it. Well, then somebody brought me one the other day at school, and our SRO is featured in it. So I'm like, we've got to talk about that. And but she had an appointment, so we're going to get her on. Maybe one day next week we can get her on. But I called Bill. I said, hey, you want to come in and let's talk? I thought it was real interesting, and I've mentioned this to a couple of different folks that have been in, just like when Mayor Vogel was in and then when Ron Martin was in yesterday. Well, and even Tiffany Thompson. We talked about that story that you gave me that talked about how that we're considered the 9th best place to retire in Tennessee. And I thought that was really interesting, and I got their take on it. What's your take on that?
Well, I've thought for a long time we're ripe for that. Mm-hmm. We've got low taxes. We've got land that can be converted to new houses. Mm-hmm. That's going to stop one day. And
Ryan even said, let me interrupt you. Ryan even said yesterday, he says, we've about approved as much growth as we can handle.
That's exactly right. That, you can't go along here and just keep on trucking thinking, oh, this is great, new people coming in. Mm-hmm. It's got to be managed properly. Mm-hmm. And Ryan knows that, and Billy Vogel does too. Yeah. It's just a fine line we have to travel to figure out exactly how do we do this without messing up, falling off on each side, So, I like new people coming in because I enjoy telling them about the history of this county, which is unusual.
It is.
And just like the other day, I wrote an article in the paper about grubbing hose. Well, I've talked to several people that just moved here, and they didn't know what it was.
I do. It's one of my favorite tools.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite
Everybody
tools.
around here that's been a native has a grubbing hoe.
Tell them what a grubbing hoe is, because I guarantee you there's people going, what's a grub? If I were to ask my students today, do you know what a grubbing hoe is? They wouldn't have a clue. Now, I don't even know that they would know what a garden hoe is, honestly.
Well,
I mean, unless I just...
I think so.
You would think, if I would say... I don't even want to say, if I didn't say garden hoe and just said, go get the hoe.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there.
Well,
the things that the shortened words that they'll say, and it would be a woman of ill repute. Okay.
I thought of that.
Yeah, because that's what they would. That's a slang word for them.
Yeah.
But things have changed.
Several years ago, in my lifetime, everybody had a garden.
Yeah.
And they're going away now for vegetables, I'm talking about, and flowers too.
Right.
But you had to have a grubbing hoe if you had a garden.
Yes.
And if you don't know what one is, look on the internet and search for grubbing hoe.
I have one.
I have 3 in my garage.
I have one that belonged, my Aunt Carolyn, who people always compared us because we had a lot of the same personality traits, and she passed away years ago. She passed away 30 years ago. So when I was at her sale, I bought her grubbing hoe, and I still have it, and I love it. It's one of those things. Yeah. But I've got her grubbing hoe. I guarantee you, she worked a lot with that. Yeah. I mean, she was a worker. And
they were used for not only gardening, but killing snakes and lots of other stuff,
That's funny.
They had a lot of use, grubbing hoes did. That's the first thing you'd think to go to if you would need to do something.
Yeah. If I'm planting anything, a shovel, people will get a pickaxe or something like that, and I said, no, you need a grubbing hoe because it's just got that perfect weight and that wide blade, and it looks something like the shape of a pickaxe, like a pick.
Right, yeah.
But the one end on it is wide like a hoe and a little bit longer, and you can just really turn up the soil with it in a way that you can't do with a lot of things because it's got the weight and it's got the width.
So you use one, you don't realize how good they are.
Okay, here's Paul. He's wanting to know, what about a livy lad? What's a livy lad?
Oh, that's one of those things you cut weeds with. We used to call them lively lads.
Are you talking about the ones that are kind of shaped like like a rainbow and then flat?
Yeah, well, it got a little. Most of them are straight. Some had curves to them, slight curve, but it looks like a triangle. You had two arms.
I don't think I've ever used one of those.
And we call them slings.
Okay.
We call them slings. Lively lads. I don't know what other.
We had one. We just called it a weed whacker, and it was
toward the electric thing.
Now ours wasn't. We had one that was just you just weed whacker and you just swing it, and it would cut the weeds. So I bet it's the same thing.
It's like that.
I bet it's the same thing.
A little bit different shapes over history.
Yeah.
But what did people do back when they didn't have gas lawnmowers? I asked a lady, an older lady, one time. She said, "Well, we brought the goats out and the sheep and let them eat the grass in the front yard."
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a friend of mine that they raised their children very much kind of to learn how to take care of themselves. I mean, they did gardens, they did, harvested deer every year, and so I mean they really did a good job with that. But one thing that they did is they would go around to sales and they invested in about 4 or 5 of those push lawnmowers that the blades,
little circular blades.
Yeah, and so those kids were cutting the grass the minute they could walk, and they loved it. And it wasn't dangerous, You could put a little kid behind one of those, and they had those kids cutting the grass. And Mark, my husband's calling it a loplolly, and Paul's saying, "Yeah, it's all the same thing." And my husband's calling the grubbing hoe a Maddox.
Yeah,
that's another. That's the technical. Thank you, Professor.
Well, it's good to have somebody out of the area, like when he grew up, he was up north.
Oh, yeah.
To come up with the different names, it's interesting in the English language and what people call things.
I remember my daddy calling it a Maddox. So I guess maybe that's, kind of like the official, I don't know. I don't know if that's
I didn't, but I've heard of it, but I didn't use that name.
But that's interesting. I'm going to start asking, I'm going to ask my kids. I'm going to have fun with that. We're always looking for fun little videos.
Bring one in to the class.
That's a great idea. Well, we're doing a piece right now. This is so funny. Bill, this morning, I said, come on in. He goes, well, I don't know what to talk about. I was like, well, we'll find something. I'm just saying, it always happens. So, we're actually doing a mini documentary right now where the kids are, and I've got my kids grouped into real small groups, because if I have them in too big of a group, I find that
like how small? 3 or 4?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Probably the biggest group I have is 4, and I've got a couple of just 2. And I got one kid once worked by himself, and I'm just letting him do it, and he's being super creative. But so I've got these 3 boys, and one of them loves agriculture, and I'm not sure, I may have even mentioned this to you, but they have worked with farming and stuff like that. They don't live on a farm, but they real love agriculture. And so he wanted to do something about what it was like, how many people still know how to grow their own food, And so they're putting out this little questionnaire to the student body about who knows how to grow their food. And so what we could do as part of that is to bring in some tools. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? And that would add to that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We could add to that. But
I remember years ago, there was a friend of mine who married a woman not from here.
Mm-hmm.
And when he first brought her in, she wanted to know, we were famous for crops and, things. She wanted to go see some of them. So he took her around the county showing her different crops. And she came out to my sister's house in Barren Plains. They did, and she was showing them what they do and everything. And she said, "Now, where do you grow the pork and beans?"
Isn't that silly? That's hysterical.
She was a very smart woman.
That's so funny.
But that's popped into her head, and there's things like that to all of us happen. We go, "What is that?" And we should know. And everybody else knows, and we don't know.
That's so funny. Where do you grow the pork and beans?
Typical, different people just don't know.
Well, I tell the story. We have a community garden that our former youth minister runs next to our benevolence center up in the church, up at the Madison Church of Christ. And when I was working at the church, and this is when Nate was still our youth minister, he had to go somewhere with the kids over the summer. He was going to be gone a week, and he said, "Hey, LaVern, can you pick the garden and pick up pick a few things. Just come on in, Lee Marie, but pick a few things." Let me tell this real quick. And I took these 2 little kids that were in there getting services with their family, over to the garden, and I said, y'all want to help me pick this stuff out of the garden? And we went over to where there were some cucumbers, and these two little bitty boys, and they were picking the cucumbers. They go, that looks like a pickle. And I was like, honey, that's what it is. It was just the sweetest thing, though. They had never seen a pickle before it was a pickle. But Lee Marie, why are you in here? Why are you dressed funny?
I'm just here for 1 minute.
Okay.
All right. And I brought a pair of tickets so you can give.
Yeah. Okay.
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 So this Friday is the social. That's right. Thank you, Bill. This Friday, 6:30 p.m. Don't miss it, guys. Pre-sale tickets only $10, $15 at the door. It's our Rocking Around the Christmas Tree sock hop.
You'll have so much
And
fun.
it's really a social. So some people say, I don't hop, I don't dance, whatever. It doesn't matter. Do you eat sandwiches? Do you have a red Christmas shirt? Just put on either a 50s thing or a Christmas sweater, Christmas shirt. We're going to have a great time.
Absolutely.
So I got to get over to the chamber event, but I wanted to show you my poodle skirt.
Yeah, that is adorable. You just look so cute all the time. Her and her costumes. If I ever need anything, I'm like, I bet you have this. So what we'll do,
Closet.
I bet. Thank you, Lee Marie. And John Baumgartner's coming in here, going to share a couple of new songs with us too. But I love you, sis. And she's going to the chamber breakfast. I told you. I mean, that's a lot of people are at that. So as we were trying to find a fill-in for Debbie this morning, it was like everybody's tied up. But Bill and me, we're going to talk. And I tell you, let's do this. First person in comments that says, I want to go to the sock hop. I want to go to the sock hop. I'll give you these 2 free tickets tomorrow night. If you've not been to any of Lee Marie's events, she has so much fun. And it is just an absolute blast when you hang out with her. And she'll teach you to dance if you want to learn and if you want to just come and hang out and have fun. I want to go to the sock hop. First person to put that up in comments will have these tickets for you. But, Bill, when we were talking this morning, you warned me. You said, it's foggy out there. Be careful. And that dense fog can be terrifying. And Mark and I, we walk super early in the morning. It's still dark, and we were walking in the dark and the fog, and it was just a little bit creepy. It was just a little bit weird. But the worst fog I've ever been in, Bill, terrifying. We were going to my husband, to go to my husband's home. He's in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, not Michigan, up the top part. So you have to travel through Chicago, through Wisconsin, and you go through Green Bay over into the UP is where we get there. So we have to cross this bridge in Green Bay. And Mark was asleep, and I get in there. I'm literally cannot see my hand in front of my face. And I'm driving with and he's napping with my husband and 4 children, thinking a truck's just going to run over me because they can't see me. I can't see them. Just terrifying. That is the most terrified I've ever been on the highway, is driving in that fog. And I'm telling you, I just was praying and finally found a place to pull off into a parking lot until it lifted. Because the danger is you pull off and you think you're out of the way and you're like in the road and somebody just run over you. That's why you hear about these terrible wrecks in fog. I didn't know fog could be that thick. Terrifying.
There's nearly 4,000 people have wrecks and because fog every year.
I can imagine.
And
I can imagine.
Several hundred people were killed in related accidents.
I've covered, because even though I don't recall of any terrible time, I'm sure we probably had 1 or 2 in this area. I can remember just as in my broadcast career, talking about the horrific ones that were like hundreds of cars and things like that, and talking about them on radio.
I know a man that was killed.
Oh, really?
He got out in a fog out of his truck. He was a truck driver. And trying to help people, and he got run over.
Got run over, yeah, because nobody could see him. Yeah, it's terrifying. Terrifying. Be so careful. Careful.
I mean, like driving with blinders on or something. You can't see anything.
Yeah, it really is.
But the one characteristic of fog I always think of, there's no wind. Because if there's wind, it'd blow it off.
Ooh, I never thought about that. That is interesting.
But
what causes fog? I don't understand it. It's just like all of a sudden, it's just like it rolls in.
Well,
can you explain it?
Cooling, cool air is coming down toward the earth, toward warm air. There's no wind, and all of a sudden the dew point, which is what a dew point is a measurement of how much water the air can hold. So as the dew point rises up to 100, there's no wind. It's a lot of water droplets formed. And that's what fog is, water droplets. In the wintertime, it's called frost.
Mm.
But it forms these little water droplets, and it just like a cloud. Same thing as a cloud. You know, a cloud had a lot of water droplets. And it just settles down in the low areas first. And then you'll notice when you're driving, it's a little clearer on a road than it is in a field because the cars are moving the air, blowing it out. But it's when that cool air comes down, it's not blown away, it's gotten into the warmer air, and therefore you have fog or dew or frost, whatever the year it is.
So when it gets cold, so if we, okay, do we see, okay, when the frost is, you come out and the frost hits, will you have fog before the frost? Will you see the fog, or is it just just because of the cold?
Looks like, well, it looks like in the distance fog, but really not like it is now when you have a lot of warmer air. I'm eating this thing you gave.
Hey, I know I keep these things all the time. It's just like my go-to. I'll sing in the
this time of year in the spring. It can get really foggy.
Oh, it's
Then
crazy.
when it gets real cold, below freezing, then it's sort of ice droplets in the air, little icicles type thing. And that can be foggy, like a cloud. It's the same thing as a cloud.
Okay.
So just wait, and as it warms up during the day in the morning, which today will probably be about 9 o'clock, and it'll be lifted.
We've got rain today.
It is lifted. It's gone up, but very dangerous.
Well, it is. And when you mentioned it, I've never been as terrified as I was whenever I was driving through that fog and as we were approaching Green Bay. That was horrifying, and Lord got us through it. But I've one of the things that's always intrigued me is like I get up really early, and I have been one of those. I'll go out and check my car, and there's no frost on it. Go back an hour later, and there is. In the last moments of the night. It's like just before I was like, well, there wasn't any frost there, and look at it now. And it's
if the window, like your car is sitting there, and your passenger side window is toward the east where the sun's coming up, it's going to dry quicker, become clearer quicker than the driver's side.
Yeah. But it's like that frost forms in that last moment before. It's like the coldest moment before you hit sunrise.
That's when the cold air comes down, and there you are.
It's interesting. Weather fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me. Every now and then I'll have a student that'll say something about wanting to be a meteorologist. I'm like, that would be fun.
People hear a lot about dew point on weather forecast on TV. Nobody knows what it means. But dew point is the absolute point where rain forms. Like dew point's 100 degrees. It is raining.
Okay.
All right. If the dew point is 50 degrees, it's not going to be raining. It's going to be dry. So it's important to know your dew point figures versus relative humidity, which is not an accurate thing. It's a relative humidity is 90. It may not be raining.
Okay.
But it's a relative type thing. And it's best. There's so much good information on the internet. You can go do a search and find out all about that if you want to know more. But it's interesting.
It is interesting. There's lots.
Dew point is more important than people realize.
Yeah. And it's like you said, so when it's raining, the dew point's 100%, right? Is that what you said? So, because we're supposed to get rain coming in here today pretty soon.
Well, that's going to be
about noon.
An iffy thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
A lot of it's gone north of us, and some went south. I hadn't had any rain yet.
Oh, okay.
Except, no, I don't think I had any Monday, but I don't have any rain yesterday or today to record.
Yeah.
But it will tonight.
Yeah.
And people have asked about ball games Friday night. I think it'll come in here tomorrow morning and then late Friday night. I think the ball games will miss the rain.
Okay.
But that may change. You know, timing is critical. And it's hard to spot check forecast.
Well, and I know Springfield's on the road. We've got two, and I guess East Robertson's still in it. The only reason I know about Springfield is because my husband's teaches at Springfield, and he was like, we got to go to that game. Well, it's like 2 hours away, and we have other plans anyway. But happy birthday, Paul Rainey. Tomorrow's his 75th birthday. And so we're going to celebrate him. But the East Robertson, I don't know if they're still in it or not. I'm pretty sure Joe Burns got knocked out. Yeah, I haven't either.
New Springfield's doing real well.
Yeah. So they're on the road though. It's an away game.
Yeah,
it's an away game.
Games anymore. The noise just it damages my ears.
I can imagine.
We get ear trouble, hearing aids, and all that.
Yeah, but I enjoy. I'm one of those football fans. I like going when we're in the last games. I don't like watching sports. I really don't. Yeah, I get bored. Oh, I get so bored. Now when it's
be just the opposite.
Oh no, my mother, she could watch any baseball game, basketball game. She loved all of it.
Yeah.
My dad and I could care less. You know what my dad and I like to watch? Archaeology and history.
Oh, I love that.
My dad and I are cut from the very same cloth. We are really fascinated by ancient history. And I got that from my dad. And I would much rather sit and watch the History Channel than a ball game any day of the week. Or listen, or I love listening to archaeological studies.
I find myself in a bad way because like that, I'm interested in a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'll start spouting out some information about that, and they'll look at me like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm learning too. There's not a whole lot of people that care about what we're interested in, Bill.
I ran across this little tidbit of information the other day, and I got excited about it because it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife, and I said, back in the Roman times, women were not allowed to kiss men. And it was frowned upon.
Uh-huh.
But they had a rule about kissing. Men kissing, the sons or the husbands can kiss the wife. The reason was why women were not allowed to have strong drink, like wine made out of grapes. They could have some fermented fruit, but not that. And they would test to see if they'd been drinking it by kissing them.
Wow.
I look at that, I said, that is so funny, so typical of things. And then I tell her that, and she said, well, what's the point? Oh, never mind. And she's not interested in that. But I run across little things like that. I don't forget them because they're interesting.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
What people did way back at certain times.
Well, see, and when you tell me stuff like that, because of the study I do on women's role in the church, and I look at those kinds of things, and I then read scripture about the limits that, Paul gave women in some places, but then in some other places he said, hey, pray and prophesy, just do it with your head covered, all that kind of stuff. And so I look at all those little, details about the society then, and that tells you a lot. And one of my big things that I come back to, and I'm just going to do this for just 1 second. I won't go off on this about women's role in the church. But one thing I think you really need to think about when you look at the primary denominations limiting the role of women in the church, so much of that theology was developed in a time period, even in this country, before women could vote and women had no rights and they were considered more property.
1920.
It's only been a little over 100 years, y'all, that women had the right to vote.
Isn't that amazing?
Unless you were a landowner and a widow. I think there were some, and I'm not 100% sure of that, but there was some kind of, because I haven't done a deep dive on this, but it seems to me like I found something historically where a woman was a widow and inherited her husband's property, because there was a time when to vote, you had to be a landowner. And she was allowed to vote because she was the landowner. So I don't know, but
I've got an article coming out next week about all that and the Robinson County connection about voting and what women could and couldn't do. And a lot of the rules on voting were based on trying to keep certain sects of people out of it and not allowed to vote. And that's not just 100 years ago, but that was 1,000 years ago. Not 1,000, but a few hundred years ago.
Yeah.
They made all these rules just for certain ways to keep people out.
Yeah, they really did. And so, I mean, it's fascinating. There's so many. It's like when you messaged me, I don't know what we'll talk about. I'm like, we could talk for 2 hours, Bill, without stopping.
Reading another one. I read a lot on the internet. I read this morning that another country, and I forget which one it is now, it was a Muslim country, and they killed everybody in this church, Christian church, and the pastor because being a Christian. And I thought, if we go and wipe out a mosque, we would be toast. You can't do that. But over there, you can do it.
Oh, this is in
And
Sudan and
they're not gonna
Nigeria.
get
It's
put in
happening.
jail or anything, either.
Yep.
It's
It's horrifying what's going on in Nigeria, the Sudan, and the martyrdom of Christians right now is breathtaking, breathtaking all the time.
Nobody realizes that. I may say nobody.
Well,
Most people don't realize what their stance, what they stand for, is costly to their life and their livelihood. And
You better believe it.
very, somebody said the other day on this little group I'm on the internet with, well, if Jesus Christ was really did all of this and lived, why don't we have anything written down about it? History, and whether there is
Oh,
actually.
there's tons.
And I came back and I said, if all of this wasn't true, isn't it strange that all these disciples lived a life dedicated? What would, if it wasn't true, if he didn't rise from the grave, why would you stand up for him?
Yeah.
And his word, that doesn't make any sense. These guys, most of them were killed bad. They did a lot, cut them up, killed them, did a lot of things to them. And I thought, if their belief wasn't so strong, they wouldn't go through that. And they knew what was going to happen to them. I'm not that strong.
Yep.
I hate to say that, but I wish I was. But good.
I think if it came down to it, you would be. I really do. I think I would be too. I think it's hard to comprehend that you would say, that you'd lay your life down and before you would deny Christ. But I believe I would. I believe I would. Now, in the moment, I don't know. And if you're threatening my loved ones, if you're threatening some of my grandbabies or something, oh dear God! And that's what they did. Philip. I know I've got John Bumgardner, got to get on in here, but if you look at the story of Philip, you talk about Philip and his daughters who prophesied. History records that Philip they were telling him to deny Christ. His daughters were saying, "Don't you dare, Dad." And he was made to watch them be raped and murdered, and then he was murdered. And that's the martyrdom of Philip.
If all the gospel wasn't true, and Jesus Christ wasn't a person that did all that, why would they stand for that? Why would they be so committed?
Exactly. They saw him. They lived with him. They saw him crucified. They saw him risen.
We got off track.
Yeah, we did. But, what a good way to get off track. Yeah, and, it's like I've heard Josh McDowell say one time, he said, people will die for a lie that they believe in, but they died for a truth that they were eyewitness to.
Right.
People will die believing a lie.
Well,
but they died for a truth they were eyewitness
trying to figure it out. Yeah. Just think of that.
Yeah, exactly. I love you, brother. Thank you for coming on in here. And John's right here. He's got a couple of new songs he wants to share with us. Lee Marie was telling me, and so we're going to bring him on in. Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Me too.
What's going to
I know it was fun. Bill Johns. You can read his articles in The Connection and see him around and about. He's a very interesting fellow. We love you, brother. And as John's making his way in here, I remind you, if you want a couple of sock hop tickets, just say, I want to go to the sock hop in comments, and we'll hold these tickets for you. And I need to talk about, while he's getting comfy, I need to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, our longest running full-time sponsor here at 1 Street Over, and we appreciate him so much. If you're looking, let's just recap here. If you're buying or selling, or if you want to be a realtor, you need somebody that knows what they're talking about. Rebecca's been at this a long time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, which means that she has been specifically trained to help you. If you're at that age and you're like, I need to do something different, I need to maybe downsize, whatever. She has been specifically trained to help you with that and to make sure that you make the right decisions. So with that expertise, then she has her husband that was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years up in Nashville. He brings that expertise to the table so that if you want to make sure that your property, when you get ready to sell it, that it is seen in the absolute best light, he's an expert at that as well. He is the broker here in town. He has an office here in Springfield. Rebecca has a office for agency office up in White House, and together they formed Exit Prime Realty. It's with the same great team she's been with her entire career. It's the Exit crew. She was with the Garden Gate team forever, but they went and they started a new branch in the same wonderful tree, and it is Exit Prime Realty. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, BUY, robertsoncounty.com, or you can just pick up the phone and give them a call and talk to them, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. That is Rebecca's number. But give them a call, talk to them. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're Cross Plainians. They've been here for 30 years, about the same time I got here. But they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties because they've been all over. And they're originally from Kentucky. So, yeah, they know all about the Kentucky properties, too, and what it means to live in Kentucky, work in Tennessee, still got to pay that income tax in Kentucky. So you got to figure that into the bottom line, and how much home can you afford? They'll take care of you, beautiful care of you. If you want to talk real estate with them, get a free market analysis if you're thinking about selling your property, and be ready to go. Get pre-qualified for how much home you can buy. They've got everything covered. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. When you talk to them, let them know U-Turn sent you. John, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
You're going to have to get on that microphone, brother.
Okay.
I can't hear you. There you go.
Is that better?
That's much better.
All right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Life is just fantastic.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is.
It is wonderful.
Even with the fog, you look around and it's like mysterious. It's like, oh, I'm like in a different place.
I know. We were out walking early this morning. I told Bill, I said, it is a little creepy coming up from the because we live down in the hollow.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up in that dark with the fog and all that. It's
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love getting out early and walking. It's so peaceful.
Yes.
You have some good prayer time, boy.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's just nothing like it.
I agree.
Nothing like it.
I had a prayer with a man yesterday, and he was out in his deer stand. And so that was really fun. I
bet.
mean, yeah, he said, I felt like I needed to be out here in God's country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's as close as you can get right there.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
And I thought that was a really good use of a deer stand myself,
That works. That works. I love that. That's a great idea. Well, Lynn Marie told me you're a songwriter, you're a writer, you're a business owner, you do minister, you do all the things, but you got a couple of new songs. Tell me about them. Because is there always a story behind what you write?
Always.
Okay. So
Always.
give me the story of these two new songs.
Well, this first one's really, it's new in terms of when it will be released, which sometime next year. But I wrote it many years ago. It was during the first Gulf War.
Okay.
I was actually teaching school. I had just come out of that stroke, and I was able to function again. And so the Lord felt like he wanted me to teach. I didn't feel that way, but, he did. So as I was teaching, it was the first song that I had written after having succumbed to that stroke. And it was about salvation and accepting the Lord. But I thought about those Army guys over there in Iraq and Kuwait at the time, and I thought, gosh, they're so close to the Jordan River. If there's any of them that are not believers, this is a prime time to cross the Jordan, right? To the promised land there. And so that idea stuck in my head, and I was actually listening to Alison Krauss, and oh my goodness, she's so talented and such a good songwriter too. And so I was listening to her, and I just was inspired to write a bluegrass tune, and so that's where this come from, and it's called Crossing Jordan.
Okay.
Appropriately enough.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's hear that. All right. This is John Bumgardner. When can they find it? You say it's going to be released?
I'm thinking in the fall. I'm in the studio right now, actually.
Okay, so the fall next year.
Fall next year, yes.
Okay, so it's not been released because you're going to tell me about your studio experience.
Oh,
Are you
my
down there at
goodness.
Vol State?
I am. And
I just love it. I just love it.
Steve Beischer, you know Steve?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible resource there. I mean, the guy's won 5 Grammys. He's an incredible engineer, and the more I've learned from him, the more there is to learn. I mean, he's just a wealth.
Brilliant.
Oh, he really is.
I told my kids, and let me just kind of just drive this home. If you're interested, and if you're a high school student and you're interested in being a sound engineer, you have 2 free years of college through the Tennessee Promise that you can use and study from a 5-time Grammy award-winning sound engineer, Steve Beischer. I mean, are you kidding me? Of all state, in facilities that are just incredible. If that's your interest, what are you waiting for?
Amen.
I mean, oh my goodness.
And he's such
What
a
an
good guy, too.
What a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a nicer guy. And yeah, when they told me y'all were taking classes over there, I was like, oh, I just love that. I just love that. That's great.
There's a God story behind that, too.
Yeah, I
And
kind of figured there was.
Yeah, after I sing this, I'll share that.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it, brother.
I've been riding down this river. I've been gone way too long. I'm getting kinda tired. Lord, I'm coming home tonight. I'm crossing Jordan just to see my Lord. I'm crossing Jordan. Lord, I'm coming home. I was lost in the darkness till I saw your son. Now I don't have to guess. I know he's the one. I'm crossing Jordan just to see my Lord. I'm crossing Jordan. Lord, I'm coming home. I've been telling all my friends, you've got to pray. When you get to the end, you will know the way. I'm crossing Jordan just to see my Lord. I'm crossing Jordan. Lord, I'm coming home. Lord, I'm coming home.
Outstanding. I love it. I love it. I love it. That is fun. That is
That's
fun.
a fun tune, isn't
That's
it?
fun. And it's so funny because last night I was talking to a friend of mine and she has a kiddo named Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And I started singing On Jordan's Stormy Banks I Stand. And she's like, there's a song with his name in it. You got one better. Oh, I'll have
Well,
to
there
hear
you go.
that.
Yeah, you
because
should.
She was like, well, he's going to want to hear that. And I was like, oh yeah, there's lots of Jordan songs, honey.
Yeah.
I said there's lots of them. That was just the one that popped up in my head.
It's so funny.
And but as soon as you sang that, I was like, well, I gotta tell Shaniqua about this song
that's
now.
cool.
That's great.
It's so funny. After I wrote that song way back, probably been 15 years ago or more. There's a TV show that started coming on called Crossing Jordan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it
seems like I kind of remember that, but I can't remember what it was about.
I don't think it was a huge
Yeah.
hit, but anyway, I thought, well, they should have contacted me.
You got the song.
I got the perfect song for them, right?
Yeah.
So that story with Steve is my wife actually through you went on a field trip, right?
You have to have, forever how many kids you have to have an adult. So there's like a number, and I forget what the number is. So I needed a couple of adult chaperones. And so Lee Marie has substitute taught and done different things. I said, would you want to go and be one of my, chaperones? And she was like, yeah, let me do that. And Shannon then said, do you want to go too? And that's how we ended up, going together to this field trip. Is I just needed some grown up chaperones.
And it was about podcasting, right? In that.
Well, I have an audio video production class, and we do all the things.
Oh,
I mean, our primary thing. We do the news 3 days a week for Greenbrier High School, but we're doing like mini documentaries. I'll do podcasts. They'll get interested in doing podcasting, and they'll do a couple, and then they'll get bored with it. That kind of stuff. But I've got a couple of musicians. One of the things that's kind of been birthed out of the audio video class is the kids that are drawn to that. There's been several that are just musicians that people don't really know about that are just really good guitar players, or maybe they write music, but there's no outlet for them because they are not into Broadway, into theater and all that. They just like to write songs and do what you do.
Yeah.
And so I have a little questionnaire I ask my kiddos. It's like, what's something that you do or something you're proud of? And I've had several of them go, I play guitar. And then I always say, are you any good? I keep a guitar now at the school so I can hand it to them and say, play me something.
Very cool.
And, oh my goodness, I've been blown away. We ended up having a talent show.
Wow.
And phenomenal talent. And through that, a couple of the kids, one in particular is about to graduate, says he's going to be a sound engineer. And he's brilliant. And I believe he'll do it. And I believe he'll be a rock star. But I told him, I said, you've got to go to Vol State and stay with Steve.
Amen.
And I believe he will. I think he will. But yeah, I'm so impressed with that program over there. It's so incredible.
It's amazing.
So we went to that was just to answer the question of what we do. We do it all. And whatever the kids are interested in.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I get a bunch of kids in that all they want to do is news, and that's what we focus on. But if they're, news is something we have to keep maintained. But if it's just not their thing, then we spend more time doing like short films or just learning techniques and things. You have to follow their interest. Right. But so we have a field trip that we've been doing and going to Vol State. And Steve is just blown away. Got to show him one of his Grammys, and it was just crazy. And so she was there with us, and then so that tells you why they were there with us. So then what happened as a result of that?
Well, my wife, always looking after my best interest, of course. She knew that I've been telling her, I said, I'm going to try to save some money here and get in the studio because I have my own studio and I enjoy recording, but doing the engineering and the recording and being the artist sometimes is too much.
I get it.
So I really, this time I thought, well, this next album, I'm going to go in the studio. I'm just going to find a good engineer and do it, that way.
Right.
And start saving for it. Well, as a result of her going with you guys, she got to talking to Steve and Cole, actually, as Shepherd as well was there. And they said, well, your husband could, just take the class, pay, X amount of dollars and come and take the class. And then as a result, he can have free access to the studio. I'm like, praise God.
It's incredible.
Oh my goodness. It was an answer.
Secret in Nashville.
But it gets even better. This is how God works.
Crazy.
This is his economy, right? And he says, so when I actually met Steve myself at a concert of a group they had recorded in Gallatin, the Lugnuts.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and I actually have a couple of friends in that group, so it's kind of interesting, everybody's connected. It's a small town, right?
I know. I bumped into him at the Kilgore Festival.
Did you? Yeah.
So it was anyway.
Yeah, nice people.
But the ones that were promoting what they did. It wasn't them. It was just somebody was there promoting what they had recorded.
Probably Cole, I bet. But and Cole actually is the one that's helping engineer my the instrumental album I'm working on. This and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But just to finish this story, so it gets better. My wife said, or actually, I was talking to Steve, and he said, so because he saw me, he saw I had gray hair, right? Well, white hair, whatever you want to call it, right? So he goes, hey, how old are you? And I said, 65. He goes, well, you can audit it for free. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it's a pretty good deal, don't you think? I'm like, I'll be there. Tell me how to sign up. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you're over 60, it's free.
Over 60.
Over 60.
Well, see, I've been trying to make time to go in there and audit some classes because I have so much technology I need to understand, and I'm like drinking through a fire hose every day because it changes every day.
I know it.
And there's so much I don't know because while I have had this blessed career in broadcasting since 1980, I've always been the person that runs my mouth. And I've had brilliant engineers around me just go push that button when you're ready to talk.
Yes.
Well, I don't have a wealth of technology knowledge. And so, people are like, well, LaVern, you've ran control boards your whole life, your whole life practically. And I'm like, yeah, this one looks a little different.
Right.
And, an old school control board, well, yeah, you plug it in and you work. And I mean, some of this stuff, we've got a control board at the school. our band director, Mr. Martin, he's like, I love it. I'm like, I hate it. Because it's just, stop. He goes, but it'll do so much, Miss Vivio. And I'm like, I know, it's scary. So I need somebody to teach me how to really do this stuff. And so Steve has said, come on, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
And I wish it were a little bit closer to me. I wish that's the only thing.
Yeah. Well, it's worth
Gallatin.
It's worth the drive.
Oh, it's worth the drive, but it's just not convenient for me right now. And
right.
especially while I'm in the middle of trying to get we're renovating our house.
Oh, yeah.
Or remodeling it or whatever, no, the one that's just kind of moving stuff around. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know which one to call it, but I guess I call it that because it's not the one you have to call codes for, whichever that is, because we're not doing anything, we're not adding a room on or anything. We're just, moving stuff around with what's already there. So I don't know which one that is. I don't know why I'm talking about that.
Remodeling, maybe.
Doesn't matter. But anyway, we're doing that. And so it's chaotic whenever your house is just kind of torn apart and it's coming together. Jim Tees is just a rock star. Again, I'm getting off subject.
It's okay.
Go back to yours. This is getting to this class. I say all this because I got to figure out when I can get over there and learn from Steve because he's brilliant.
He really is.
All right.
And
so we're auditing this class for free.
For free. And I've been doing this since, the fall semester.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue into the spring semester as well and continue to record, of course. And I'm working on 2 albums at the same time. So, one is the instrumental follow-up to My Heaven is Blue. So it'll be similar things here. But the interesting thing about this, talking about technology, for many years, I've wanted to be able to record an acoustic guitar arrangements and have each string recorded separately. Now, that's a technical nightmare when you think about it, And the technology just has never been there. But this year, I found a pickup system that's made in the UK. It's called a hexaphonic pickup, and it sits right here on the front of your guitar underneath the strings, and it has an individual pickup for each string. So I'm recording this next album with that because over there at Vol State, they have another studio where you can, the Dolby Atmos 7.1 surround sound. So this album, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
But this album will be, I believe, the first of its kind where you will be able to hear. It'd be like you're inside the guitar.
Oh my goodness!
Can hear each string going around you.
Oh my goodness!
Isn't that amazing?
You've got to come and explain this to my. You got to come talk to Aiden Raymer because he's a guitar player and he wants to be a sound engineer. He would love to hear about this.
He would love this thing.
Oh my goodness!
It's amazing. And now it's a lot of work for the engineer and myself to set that thing up, but. Once you do it, because you got 7 or 6 inputs, and then we're also recording with microphones. I might add really nice microphones because Steve has the best, The
best of the best.
And so it's just amazing the sound we're getting over there. And I can't wait to release this album,
Wow.
So
I can't wait to hear it.
And the thing about it is, it's not, you can't release it on a CD, that version of it. There'll be another version. But there will be a sort of a mixed down version of it that will be available, on a CD. But it will be available through Apple iTunes in that format where you can hear it that way.
So cool.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's cool.
Oh,
that's cool.
I've just been blessed. This whole thing came together at
so
exactly
cool,
the right time.
Oh,
you know.
Yeah.
Only God does that.
Oh yeah. That's so fun.
I know it, right?
That's so fun. And I mean, so I just want to make sure because I feel like I'm with you on this, understanding.
Sure.
So you've got this contraption. Okay, we'll just call it contraption. That it's a pickup. And you're doing basically a 7-channel recording, and each string has its own channel to where you can.
Yes, mix it. Then like you got 7 different speakers and a surround sound. So maybe the low E's over here or down in the bass, subwoofer, and then over here on the left might be your A string. This might be your D over here and your E, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here just going.
So you're going to hear it that way, right?
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I know,
I
right?
cannot wait to hear
I
this.
know, right? I'm excited
Oh
about
my
it.
goodness! When do you think that's going to be released?
I don't know. That's taking a little longer than I
would
thought,
imagine.
because of the technical part of it all. But
Goodness,
it's worth every second of it.
Okay, as soon as we get back from Thanksgiving, I'm going to try to. And what is the thing called again?
It's called a hexaphonic pickup.
A hexaphonic.
Six outputs.
If you've got, do you have my phone number? Can you text that to me?
I think I do.
I want to make sure and tell Aiden about this because
Yeah.
he may already know about it, honestly, because these
Yeah.
kids, they look into it.
Oh, they
And not
do,
just
yeah.
him. I mean, I've got like some younger kids too, Luke Dameron and Alex Gonzalez and just amazing guitar players
Yes.
that need to hear about this. Now, from the recording standpoint, Aiden Raymer is the one that's just into sound engineering.
Oh yeah.
Big, and he's a senior. But they're all just incredible musicians and really interested in it. And I think we'll want to know about this. But Aiden, if he doesn't already know about it, he's going to be like, "What?"
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. It's really,
yeah, that's cool.
and it's not that expensive. I thought, wow, it's probably gonna cost $1,000 or more. It was only like $300.
So we could get one for our studio.
You could,
at
yes.
Bobcat Studio.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my
But
goodness!
yeah, it's.
I gotta get Steve back in. I kept telling him we were trying to get a field trip to Vol State this fall, and we just have not been able to make it happen.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get there. I mean, we went last year in the spring, and we'll get back in there. First thing. But we have during testing, they won't let us take them anywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
you can't go anywhere.
Well, if you come in the spring, I might be there, so that'd be fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I may try to do it just like right out of the gate as soon as we get back from Christmas.
There you go.
And do that. But we have the Skyway studio we want to go to, and I have got to set that up in Nashville. I don't know if you know that recording
Yeah.
video studio. Is amazing.
Mm.
And then of course you've got the TBN studio as
Yes.
well. That is another amazing
Yes.
facility.
Oh,
Marie
yes.
went with me to that one as well. But we've got some facilities around here that just blow me away.
And musicians. This town is loaded with talent
what in the world?
in
Incredible.
all aspects of music
Yes.
and video and everything else. It's just really,
Yeah.
it's like heaven for musicians.
Well, talking about this, what did you call it again? The pickup.
Hexaphonic.
I bet Perry Myers is aware of it.
Yeah,
the
he probably is. Yeah.
At Perry's music up here,
Right.
Mr. Perry's. But I want to make sure they know about it because that's cool, and that you're recording that. That's super
Yeah.
cool. I love it. Way
Yeah.
to go, John. That's
Well,
gonna be fun.
it's-
I can't wait to hear it.
I know it. I can't wait to finish it. Really,
Yeah.
it's because
What's the
it's a
genre?
dream come true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you some of the songs I'm recording is a new version of Amazing Grace. I had Amazing Grace on here, but the Lord sends you a version of it, and it's like, oh, I really like that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put it on
do
my
it.
next album, regardless. I
Absolutely.
might put it on every album. I don't know,
Absolutely.
but then bringing in the sheaves, it'd be a little different, and then I'll have 3 original tunes on there too.
Okay,
One's
cool.
called South Mountain Snow, and the interesting thing about
I
this
like
one,
the title.
is you can imagine the snow falling, and when you got that hexaphonic pickup,
Oh.
you got all these effects you can put on those notes you're playing, and it will sound like snow is falling. I'm telling you,
So cool.
so it reminds me of that Spear over there in Las Vegas. If you had the film to go along with it, it would just really be an experience, I think.
Yeah, I'm wanting to go to the Sphere so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd love to see the Eagles
I
there.
know it. But man, those tickets are like $600 a piece or something. I heard.
Oh, it's
Just
crazy.
insane.
Yeah,
I'm like, I ain't
yeah.
doing that.
No, me either.
But so you've got one more song to play. And we've only got a few minutes left, so let's
Okay.
go ahead and get your other
All
song
right.
in because I got to head to school. I got to help record the news this morning, or at least let the kids in the room so they can do it. There you go.
Well, this tune, my wife and I walk every morning at the Y or try to, and this lady was in there. She'd read my book. She said, "I know you're a songwriter. I got this idea for a song. It's called I Ain't Had a Good Hug Since You've Been Gone." I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good country tune, doesn't it? And then I let that mull over a couple months, in my head, and I already had this tune, and but the Lord said, "I want you to change one word in it," and He said, "Change you to I." So I wrote it as, "I ain't had a good hug since I've been gone." And so it's about the prodigal son. It turned out to be this song, that was totally different. I don't think he will let me write a secular song, because every time I get started on one, it always ends up on the spiritual side of things.
Stephen Curtis Chapman will tell you the same thing.
Is that right?
Yeah, he grew up in West Kentucky, and so we haven't stayed in touch, but I can remember him saying that one time when we were connected and communicating. It just doesn't come for him.
Interestingly
It
enough,
doesn't come for him.
Steve was engineer for several of his albums.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. He's told me several stories, and but we're quite proud of Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Oh, I bet.
From West Kentucky. But his daddy taught all of us to play guitar. I took guitar lessons from his daddy.
Oh, cool.
And Steve gave me a couple of lessons, and I
Yeah.
still can't play worth a flip because I didn't. You have to practice, y'all. But Steve has said that he just doesn't have it in him. It's just got to be about God, Christ, the
Yes.
world. Yeah.
Yes.
It just always comes back to that. But
Yes,
he
it
said
does.
the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Go for it, bud.
Lord knows I need to come home. I've been running way too long, yet I still hear your song singing in my heart, telling me to turn back, and there you are. Yeah, it's true, I ain't had a good hug since I've been gone. Look for love in all the wrong places. God only knows the time I've wasted, and I know I've done wrong, but in my pain you've come along. Yeah, it's true, I ain't had a good hug since I've been gone. Time heals all wounds, that's just a lie. Forgiving brings a peace that gives me life. And your love lets me see I ain't had a good hug since I've been gone.
That's great. I love it. I love it. New music from John Bumgardner that's going to be out in the fall. And man, if you missed this show, you need to go back and listen if you're interested in the music industry and sound engineering and all the things, and just a good God story. That was great, John. Always.
Thank you. Thank you
What
for
a-
having me.
It was so much fun. We just, this last night after, things started kind of getting canceled, I was like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And Lee Marie helped me connect dots. And of course,
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
always brings it. What a fun day. We've had just a great show. Thank y'all for being a part of what we have going on here at One Street Over. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll be here tomorrow because Rachel Culver is bringing in her hubby tomorrow to share his testimony.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be good stuff, y'all. I know a little bit about it. But anyway, join us tomorrow. The Culvers are going to be in the house for Faith Friday. It'll be awesome, y'all, right here on 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Have a fabulous day.